smile too much. I'm way too hot. I'm too spirited. I'm cool and red. Feel my dance is you. My girls are hit you. I love my soccer. All my ladies taste like sugar. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me to London. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me to Lagos, but I'm made in Ghana. 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 You can take me to London. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me to Lagos, but I'm made in
It's exactly 9 minutes after the 8 a.m. here in the studios of A1 Radio 101.1 megahertz. We want to continue the conversation this morning. Well, Mega Loans promotes from SG Ghana. If you're a growing business and you want to complete a project or you want to support your the education of your children or family, whatever you need, there is a lot going on with the SG Ghana Mega Loans. It's your turn now. With even lower, more competitive rates, achieving your dream is now possible with SG Ghana's Mega Loans promo. Salaried workers of SG Ghana, listed companies, pensioners, and eligible customers can access support for personal needs, family commitments, home projects, and so many more. There is still time from now till July 2026. Apply and enjoy big loans at small rates. Yes, very, very low rates, and a fast, hassle-free process that helps you to get moving sooner. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you, or you call 0302-214-314 for more details about the SG Ghana Mega Loans promo today. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you. Now, talking about keeping money safe, your money deserves the safest home, and that's why with Telecel Cash, you are protected every step of the way. No risk, no worries, no long stories, just peace of mind. Dial *110# or you download the Telecel Play app now for safer, secure transactions. Telecel Cash, the safer choice. Now, let me introduce my guest to you this morning. We are having an engagement with Emmanuel Awene Agang Zesum. Agang Zesum. Yes. So Emmanuel is a PhD candidate, and his research area is around the area of slave trade, and he's an advocate for museums in the region. Emmanuel, it's a pleasure having you this morning, and I'll be doing this interaction with my colleague Homo Kusum Tairu, and we will hear her voice subsequently. Emmanuel, I hope all is well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Great. Let's first get an understanding around your PhD study area. Why an interest in the area of slave trade?
Thank you for this opportunity. I had my first degree at the University of Cape Coast,
Right.
completed 5 years ago. Did history. My major was actually on history, but after my degree, I started doing my national service, and I did my research, reading a lot. And then I realized there's a lot on slavery, but Ghana, we often are not allowed to discuss the internal aspect of it. We often focused on the externalities. And even with that, northern Ghana history is often on the edge. We are often on the peripheral, even though we read a lot about the history, a lot of people were taken from the northern part of Ghana, particularly the upper regions. So this is one reason why I decided to actually focus on slavery and to allow people to get the narrative on the slavery.
Mm.
So currently a 40-year PhD candidate at University, working on slavery, colonialism in northern Ghana, southern. And I'm saying that because basically those of us in northern Ghana and southern Burkina Faso, we are the same people, except that we've been divided by the boundary. So I'm trying to kind of decolonize that boundary and then see us as one. So I've been to Kibeli, other places,
Mm. Mm. And I believe the stories you are getting are fascinating and interesting.
Well, quite interesting,
Mm.
especially on system preparation, on healing, and a lot that actually have been discovered.
Mm.
So I'm learning every day. I've been in the region for almost more than a month, 2 months now. Aging. I've been to Yarga BC, been to Yorogo, Zare, Bongo,
Mm.
been to Sako, been to Sandman, Paga, a lot of places
Mm.
just to engage
Mm.
people, research, but also for project that we have.
Mm. Talking about reparations, what's your position on the entire conversation on reparations?
I think reparation is a good thing globally because there are three different communities that are actually demanding reparation. The Caribbeans, they were the answer taking. Then the Americans who also come to the African continent, they also demanding. But I think the way and money we are going about it is not really strategic. Reparation is a good thing, but you can't be on the global stage demanding reparation when you've not done your homework. There must be internal reparation, there must be reconciliation, and there must be healing. So before we seek international reparation, we as a people have to heal, we have to reconcile. But if you don't go to the community, you don't understand that people are still having that pain and shame of losing their loved ones.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's difficult for them to talk about it. I've tried speaking to a lot of families, and actually they have to turn down their requests because they just can't withstand that history. And sometimes you think they don't know, they remember, except that they don't want to discuss the circumstance under which they lost their family member. I've been to Yarga Beach, sensitive, at the Chief Palace, and that somebody was angry that we are discussing his great ancestor who was taken, but somebody fought to return him. I've been to Bongo Palace. He narrated the experience of his father, his great grandfather, who was taken slave to Sierra Leone. I've been to Mirigo, and I'm told of how women fought to preserve the history of that community and to protect the child who's today, whose offering today are actually some of the Tindanas in Mirigo. So these are stories that have not been highlighted, and I'm trying to give space for our people to actually shape the narrative, and also for our brothers in diaspora to understand this whole seal of African complicity is not just true, because if you come to this part of the country, our people were not just victims, but that's why their victimry, they mounted resistance against the slave trade, and that narrative need to be shared to the world.
Right. Very interesting. I just wanted us to go on and on, but that'll be fine. Let's talk about the project that you are looking at, the Yanga Museum. Talk to us about the Yanga Museum.
Yeah, the Nyanga Museum is a project that is intended to create a space for the two communities, the communities that was left behind
Okay.
and those who were taken.
Okay.
So the ancestors of those who were left behind and the ancestors or descendants of those who were taken. I have done my research here in Northern Ghana and Southern Wicked, and I noticed that there's still people need a closure to what happened to the ancestors. Were they taken to Salga? What happened to them at Salga? What happened to them in Kumasi? Where did they remain in Kumasi? Did they remain at the coast or were they taken across? It's something that the people need to know. If you go to the Americas, the Caribbeans, a lot of our brothers there want to come back home. They need space. But I realize that anytime they get back to Ghana, there's no connection between them and those of us in this part of the country. They remain at the coast. And the coasts were just points of exits. They were points of embarkation. The points of origin were in the north, the upper east region, the upper west region, where northern southern Burkina Faso, where a lot of people taking. So I decided that okay, if that's the case, we need to create a platform that connect these two communities,
Right.
the African diaspora, so that when they come to Ghana, they don't just remain at the coast, at the slave dungeons, but they come to the north to connect to the very families that were taken. And even if you're not able to identify your family, the fact that you're in the region where your ancestors were taken, for me, is enough healing for them. Secondly, it brings closure to our ancestors here, our relatives who have no knowledge of where they were taken. Because if your relative was taken, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, his offspring are back home, it brings a closure to the pain you are going through. So I was in Amsterdam a year ago, 2 years ago, to present the paper. And reached out to the media and said, okay, I'm from Ghana, created communities where people were taken. And then the Dutch also play an important role in this, during the slave trade. And even after the slave trade, when they had a Dutch East Indian War, they came to Ghana and they signed treaties with the South and came to exploit our people. So I suggested that okay, we need to have what we call a museum of healing and reconciliation. And I have refused to name this museum as a museum of healing. It's not just a museum of slavery. It's not just a museum of slavery, but a museum of healing and reconciliation. And we adopt the name the Nyanga because if you know Northern Ghana history or Upper East region, the Nyanga play an important role in protecting our ancestors, especially women and children against slavery. Those, you know, the Nyanga, we have the Sada, we have the Denia, those smaller room, and Kasim we call it Denia, and Bully we call it Dalong. It's an eight-shaped building with different chambers inside. And because of its dark nature, usually when slave traders are coming, women and children will run inside the dark room. And sometimes the raiders are afraid to enter because of the dark nature. At times also, because of the nature of the door, it's round entering. And you have to bend down, and you're bend out. After bending down, there's a wall blocking you.
Yes.
And that wall provides a covering for them to be able to hit any raider that comes in. So I've been to Mirigu and I've seen demonstration of how the Denyanga protected families. I've been to Sandema and I've seen how they preserve the Denyanga. And so it is important that in juxtaposition against the slave dungeon in the coast, which was capturing our people, the Denyanga was providing rescue for our people. So it's the reason why we are naming it the Nyanga Museum of Healing and Reconstruction. And back to your question about reparation. We believe that before reparation, there must be healing and there must be reconciliation. And it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm here in the north just for the past 1 month in community, trying to speak to our people about reparation. What does reparation mean to them? What does healing mean to them? So that when we go to Accra, we're having a Accra convening, a conference. I'm not speaking from books I've read. I'm speaking from the feedback those who were affected are giving us, so that any conversation on reparation is geared towards what they want. In some communities, reparation is not about money. It's about the respect, the acknowledgement that the ancestors were taken. Because in Ghana, it's a conversation we don't want to have. And I understand after independence, Nkrumah said, we didn't talk about internal slavery because it's going to create. But we've gone past. History is known, like people are writing a lot. And I think we have to be honest about complicity. That some people, because of external pressure, participate in the slave trade. Today, I cannot revenge because you take my ancestors. I cannot kill you, but let's judge. What our ancestors was wrong. What can we do to build tension? And that's what the Sandman now was telling me, that we have to create a platform here in the north, Ghana, for chiefs, for various groups to come together to heal, reconcile before we can vision externally. And I think that's what I'm trying to do.
Let's talk about the Accra Convening. Accra Convening, talk to us about it. What is it all about? What's the rationale behind the Accra Convening?
Yeah, a lot of people have questioned why we even have such a program at Accra. But the Accra Convening is create a platform for scholars, policymakers, historians to converge. One, to create awareness about what we are doing, about the museum project, and to rally support internationally and locally. And we specifically chose Accra because of the proximity to other places, the fact that a lot of the diaspora in America, and this is summertime, a lot of them are conference. We actually have the Ghana State Association conference that's happening in Kumasi. I'll be going there shortly. So one, the convene is to create that public awareness about what we are doing. Second, to let the world and Ghanaians know that there are people in the north who are still feeling the effects of the slave trade. Because there's often this idea that it's a foregone conclusion. People don't remember what had happened, but they remember. I've been to places in Mirigo and in Telewongo and Seko, and you go to the houses, they have round buildings that is preserve the souls of those who were taken. Because in our tradition, if someone passes away or dies and you can't find the body and don't know what happened, it's often difficult to perform the funeral. And if you don't do that, the ghost is helping you. So they have to preserve a place for the ghost of this individual. And we think that having our brothers come back home, one provide closure, some of this and that are actually going. So the Accra Convening one is get that support, but also tell the world that there are people up here who still remember. You know, when the president started this issue about reparation, there was a lot of conversation about the fact that the Ghana that doesn't deserve reparation because we are complicit, and that is actually ignorance. Of course, some select few were complicit in the slave trade, but a lot of us, particularly in this part of the country, the upper regions, our ancestors were victims, and despite their victimry, they mounted resistance. They used both their build and their natural environment against slave trade. Even in Bukeri here, we know the role women play in fighting against colonialism. So this museum, like I normally tell people, it's not just about the slave trade. It's about Northern history. And you all agree with me that Northern Ghana history has been misunderstood, ignored, or completely forgotten. Yeah, and because we don't have the structure to shape our narrative, because if you don't have the structures to tell the world what happened, somebody will sell your story in a manner that actually glorifies him. So the Nyanga Museum is to create that platform for our ancestors, for our people, shape the narrative of our Ghanaian history.
Right.
Of course, you cannot talk about modern Ghana without Northern Ghana, because even before colonialism, Northern Ghana played a role in industrializing the whole of Ghana. All the major cities you go, people of Northern extraction who build the city of Kumasi, Wasi, talk of Takiti, all the cities you can talk about. So another aspect of the museum is to create that platform, keep that narrative, centrality of Northern Ghana in the making of. Secondly, when we started this consultation, I've consulted a lot of people, including Tamale in Upper West, yeah. And then we decided that, okay, the museum should be in Navrongo. We're thinking of Boga in Navrongo. But because it's not an Upper Eastern and it's a Northern Ghana thing, there was a suggestion that we should send it to Salga because of the Salga market. Some said Paga. And I said, if you have to send the museum to another place, it's neither going to be Paga or Salga for important reason. Because Salga and Paga were site of exploitation. They are relics of how our ancestors were dehumanized. So we don't want to use the architecture of exploitation for an architecture of memory.
Right.
So if it's going to be in any place, either it's going to be in Golu, Navrongo, or Sandima, because these are places that show how ancestors resisted. So of course, the Pagan narrative is very important. We need to preserve it. The Salgan narrative is important, but we're not going to use the relics of exploitation or the relics of dehumanization to tell our story. That would be a mistake. So I tell people we need to protect Paga slave camp. We need to preserve it. It is important. Salga is important. But Navrongo, of course, if you look at Navrongo history, they play an important role in fighting against slave raiders. Navrongo was a center. The caravans passed through Navrongo, through Doba, to Mirigu. So they fought. Actually, there was a time where they had to select people who were well built, protect the people to fight against slave. But you know, the focus has often been on Paga and Sandema. And Navrongo and the East coming to Boga, going to Yorgo and Bongo.
Those are the slave routes.
Yeah, we don't pay attention. Gori was a part, a slave route.
Oh, okay.
A lot happened there. So if you don't go to the community to engage, you think there's only maybe Salga and Paga about. I tell people that these important things are hard, but the museum is not about victimry, not about victimization. It's about resilience. I've been to Zeko. You know, one thing, why when our people go up, down, south, they don't want, sometimes they're ashamed to tell their narrative, to identify themselves, it's because of the stigma. Because in the Southern imagination, if you say a northerner, to them, they are using the memories of the slave trade and colonialism. You know, at the point the British decided to reserve the North as a pool of labor to build the South. So they deny us education, they deny us development because they needed cheaper labor here to develop the South. So in the Southern imagination, when you see somebody of Northern extraction, you are seeing civil labor engaged in all these menial jobs. And that is a stigma that we are still going through. when Muhammad became president in the first term, I wrote a paper. There's a lot of stereotype that have been used against him because to some people, he comes from a place where the ancestors were taken as slaves. So there's that memory that is shaping identity formation. That's one aspect of my PhD to understand how memory of the slave trade and British colonial policy is shaping identity formation and stereotypical narrative in modern Ghana. That you look at Hilary Lima, what are the things that were said about Hilary Lima when he chose to become a president? Read the graphics and realize that the reference to him and the attack on him was because he came from a part of the country where, to some people, their ancestors were taking them as slaves. So they cannot understand or fathom how such a person becomes a president. And that's memory for you. So I'm saying that we are not going to use the relics of the humanization as an architecture for what we want to shape our story. So it is important that we all rally to support this identity, make sure that it becomes a
I want to come in here and if there's so much record to support that majority of the slaves came from northern Ghana, southern Burkina, how is it that when we have these programs,
Emancipation,
Pan Affairs, they return, in
the
2009,
year of return, and then beyond the return, the Black Star
the government
experience.
started that year of return,
yes.
where they marked that 400 years ago, we had the first ever record of enslaved, Africans arriving in English North. Why are these celebrations not done in northern Ghana, especially at the places where it happened, but rather in South? You are involved and you meet all these people all the time. What's your response to it?
I think there are two reasons. One, northern Ghana, because of what I said about the stigma and the pain and the shame of losing loved ones, we are using silence as a protective mechanism against stigma. We don't talk about that experience. And because of that, we don't get involved. Secondly, it's also because of policy and what is happening in the South. The focus has been on the slave coast, and realize that when, unfortunately or ironically, when our people come, they identify themselves as Akans, as Asante, or as Fantis. And there's a reason to that. It's because of erasure. A lot of them, before they were taken to the South, they lost their identity. So when they were taken from here to Salga, they were sold. Some of them went to Asante and they were on plantation before they were sold to the coast. So before the person was sold, he had adopted Asante names or Akan names, maybe not. And so no Asante also the voter part to play an important role. Often focus on Asante, but I want to make this clarification that what we are doing, we can't be using the word. It's not ethnic attribution because the Asante today is not the Asante that we have. Those who are Asante today, most of them are also Northerners. Those who are Fantis today, most of them are also Northerners. And the Sandman said something that he respect and revere Fantis so much because he thinks that most of them are his ancestors, right? But there's the likelihood that after the abolition, a lot of them stayed in Asante, a lot of them stayed in Cape Coast and adopted Fanti identity and adopted Asante identity. So you come today be saying that Asante this the two because those who are Asante today are actually Northerners.
There was a family that traced themselves back to the Sandeman Chief's Palace. Yes, from Cape Coast.
Yes.
And
so we have to be very, very careful about this attribution. So to answer your question, it's also because the structures are all in the coast.
Right.
And so when our brothers come, there's nothing that connects them to the north. And it's now that some of us are beginning to get involved in telling this narrative. The first person who started is actually Professor Emmanuel Saboro on his lecture. He focused on Sandman and the Katana aspect. My focus is largely on the east. So Navrongo coming to the east and going to southern. We are trying to shape that narrative to ensure that we center northern Ghana in that history. And like I said, even when you talk about northern Ghana history, it's often if you read the whole literature, it's often on either the Gomba or Mampusi or the kingdoms.
Yes.
But our focus is on the upper region. But the museum is not about the upper region, it's about northern Ghana and southern Burkina Faso. So yes, because if you look at the year of return, a lot of the conversation on the south, even when I was telling somebody, when the president went to New York quite recently, the chief that went when there was the chief from Cape Coast, no northern chief was represented. Is because we are not active in this conversation. What we are doing, the Accra convening gives our chief the platform. Come and let their voices be heard. That's what I'm trying to encourage the chief to participate. Those who can afford, they should be at the Accra convening so that we let the world and Ghanaians know that, of course, we haven't forgotten. We are forgiving, but we haven't forgotten, and we can never forget about that our loss. So yeah, it's a matter of policy. We are making effort to ensure that whatever that is happening nationally, northern chiefs are represented. Now, which northern chief has the resources to go to the Caribbean and engage them? Which northern chief has the resources to go to the US and engage Black Americans? And the southern chiefs that go there because they have the resources to do that. So we as a people have to mobilize and ensure that we support our leaders to build that connection. And we are thinking that the museum create that platform so that when African Americans come to Ghana, they're able to connect home. So the museum is going to be a complex, structure. It's going to be three important components. We have the digital aspect, library, and exhibition where you see the normal museum. We also have the research, which is going to drive research to bring money to the community so that they implement our. Secondly, and most importantly, which deals with the healing aspect, a platform for reconciliation and healing, where families who lost their loved ones, I've identified a lot of families region that have lost their loved ones. Some of them are willing to mention their names to connect them to the African Americans who want to connect to their root. A lot of them are spending resources, but unfortunately, they come to Southern Ghana and they can't do that. They just say, I'm a Khan, I'm a Santi, but
It ends there.
it ends there. We want them to come back home and connect to the very families that were lost their life. I've been to Zeko Palace, and a story was told about how one of the chief's sons taken to Sierra Leone, but quite unfortunately for him, slavery was abolished. So he remained there, married a Yoruba woman, and he died. But the son had to trace back and come back to Zeko to connect with their family. So these are important story or narratives that need to be told. And the African American, those of us who have been to the state and we are there, there's this kind of friction between us and them because there's this assumption that our ancestors were complicit slave trade. And I tell them my research focuses on what I call raided communities that were raided during the slave trade. And for them, they were victims. And that's why they are victim rate. They mounted resistance against the slave. And so they need to know this history. And if we don't create that platform, those people will not know. We are hoping that once the museum is established, they can come back here and connect and get to know.
Very interesting.
The other youth movement.
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware of them.
Yes.
How collaborative you and them?
So we haven't really built that formal collaboration, but I think say Mr. Chairman will be Aboro will be at their crowd convening.
Okay.
I think they registered. They actually invited us. The reunion, and the one in charge of the reunion and myself, we engaged the professor. We spoke before she came here. I think I have a meeting with them. So my celebrate over there. So we have that kind of. We're hoping that after the convening, we'll come together and see how we can.
Yeah, because you seem to be, advocating for similar things.
Similar things.
Yeah.
And I like the bit about the DNA test that they did. It actually gives more clarity, and it goes to buttress the point that indeed a lot of the people came from northern Ghana, especially in this part of the
Yes. And I told David Laskish that her work is not African diaspora. It's also for our brothers to take the DNA, know where they actually come from. Once that is done, it unites.
Yeah.
Even though I'm this bad,
we are all one.
We are all one people. So those let's volunteer and take the DNA test to see where they actually come from. For me, we want to use history to unite. No, we have a situation where a group of people use history to divide. But our aim is that we use history to unite our people, to tell them our commonality, that we are actually maybe speaking different languages, but actually saying we are one people, right? I'm Nankani, but I speak almost all northern languages here, right? Apart from the fact that I feel language that are different, but I speak all northern, and I see myself as one, right? So we should use history to unite and not to sort of divide ourselves. So that's also very important.
So that Cracovinian, where exactly is it going to take place? Is it a maiden event or it's been in existence?
Yeah, it is the maiden event. It's happening at the University of Ghana, Legon campus, at the West African Medicine Center auditorium. It's about 200 people. Registration has started. I'm urging people, if you're in the region, you have the capacity to attend, please do register. If you go online and just Google or type the Nyanga Museum, everything will be there for you. We have a website. We have a lot of people from the region that are actually part of the project. Our own son, Professor Emmanuel Vienso, is part of our board. He's also going to be speaking at the event. We have our own Awandare, Provost Chancellor of the University of Ghana, also part of our. We are in attendance as well. There are people from Congo who will be the mayoral care. Supari will be in attendance at the Accra convention. Then, of course, Chief Alasan Antani, he's the board chair. He's actually the patron for the museum. So he'll be in attendance. Action. So we are encouraging our fathers, our brothers who are here.
So what does it take? Who qualifies to attend?
Anybody at all can just walk in.
So it's open to the public.
Yeah, it's open to the public.
You have to pay something?
You don't have to pay something. But if you can register, it's good to register. We can prepare ahead of. We open to the public. There's also rally for support. If you are a business entity and want to support, you want that platform for you to shape whatever, promote whatever you want to do up there, we are encouraged to reach out to us because we have two panels. And one panel is about route of return. There are going to be people from the land in the Upper East region who will be engaging with the African diaspora about the need to return. Another panel will focus on business opportunity in the region. And we want to encourage the diaspora to come back and invest in the region. And so we have business. We have Avonseke, the lady who does fashion. She'll be a speaker at the event to engage the diaspora. Benson is going to be speaking because these are business people, and he has fantastic idea about creating industrial zone in the region. So we're going to have Benson on the platform to engage with the African diaspora, to encourage them to come back home and develop. So if you're a business person listening to me, want that platform to we want opportunity. We actually give opportunity to be part of the panelists. We are still looking. We are trying to identify a few business driving that we can put on the platform. We can reach out to.
I'm interested about the construction of the museum. It's going to be capital intensive, and
Yes.
it's probably not a one-day event. It's not a
Yeah.
one-day project. Have you already started sourcing funding for the project, or there's going to be a local collaboration to get this done?
So the good thing is that this museum is going to be community owned, community led. And so what we're trying to do is that for us to create that sense of sovereignty and community ownership, we want to make sure that there's that in the initial seed capital funding is from Ghana or is from the region that people can volunteer to support. And if you think there's any like what I've discussed, the story that you want us to share with me, you can actually reach out to the station or any individual or come and listen to you. If you have any artifact that you think is important for a story about colonialism or slavery, you can reach out to us for us to get it. So the museum, the good thing is that when I started this project, people say, "Oh, it's not going to work in the region because of the divorce." For me, I'm not so much worried about funding, about because of the experience. But quite fortunate for us, we're not going to. But for us to tell the international community that we have that sense of self, we want to mobilize support. And that's one of the aim of the Accra conference, to mobilize seed capital to start. And we get certain people. I do a lot of like so. This what I'm doing here is my own stipend that I'm using to pay this to spend to all community. People are sponsoring event, but I am not really. It's going to take 5 to 6 but we want to ensure that the community own contributing to the project in different way.
Mm.
So yeah, we mostly will be engaging with
Mm.
our external partners. We have partners, some of them are formal collaboration, letters to collaborate and level. Some of them be attending the conference as
Right.
well. I don't want to lose a lot of them,
Right.
but I have
That's fine.
significant support from other places who have reached out, wanted to contribute to the architecture, wanted to contribute to design the whole thing.
Mm.
But we are trying to make sure that we don't just use that the architects are coming from. We are going to Burkina Faso to learn about some of the indigenous building stuff.
That was actually a question that ran through. Will the architecture reflect our story, and will it have a sense of ownership in the building, in the architectural design?
Yeah, very well.
Mm.
That was going to be the case
Mm.
because the first that we're going to start is the Denyanga. We're going to use mud building or
Sure.
normal building. So we are hoping that by October, November, we'll get the communities involved.
Mm.
You know how we build our structures. These
mhm.
days, you use the grasses
Grasses. Yes.
with the mud and
Mm.
build it.
Build
So
it.
we're going to have that demonstration in November or December, before December at the location and build the actual Denyanga. We are going to have villages to demonstrate how raiders were coming and entering houses, even before the actual museum itself. So when visitors come, they can have an experience. They'll go to the Nyanga. You know, the Nyanga, there's also an escape of their
Mhm.
different ways. So all those things we done to depict our story. So the museum is not just about slavery, it's also about colonialism and how people were deliberately depopulated. There's a lot in the archives that we don't know. Have you wondered why Bongo was depopulated? Why the people of Bongo were sent to the south? Because the British were afraid that the Bongos, quote unquote, were rebellious. But when I read the archives, I don't say they were rebellious, they were resisting. So that's the language they have to use. So the opposite side may say they were rebellious, but if you understand, they were protecting their humanity. We need to this story, even how in Navrongo, Paga, Sandma fought resisted slave trade. And I tell people, man did not just resist. They abolished the slave trade before the English abolished. So that must be emphasized that Sandman abolished slave trade in northern Ghana. For the Busa fought and killed slave raiders. And we know how even Samori and Diako, Babatu's wife was. That need to be told. I've been to Murigan and told of how a woman who was at the compounding millet, threshing millet with a pistol and then a raider came to her and she has to use the pistol. That story, the world. We know of Apoka. How many people in southern Ghana know of Apoka? Compare what Apoka did to what
Yes,
Yansantwa did,
Antoine.
right? It's because you don't have the platform to shape that narrative. What Yansantwa did cannot be compared to what Apoka did, right? But you know, no one tells no the story of Apoka because you have
Emmanuel,
the platform.
that's from my interaction initially before we started. I told you of my desire, my interest in the area of this. There's a gap of literature about the northern, about just entirely the northern story,
Yeah.
and its representation
Representation.
in national literature.
Yeah.
I was asking just a question that I remember from primary school through to even the university. If you read about the history of Ghana, especially when emancipation, little is said about Puru. Little is mentioned about Pigu slave market. Little is mentioned about the Salaga slave market. Meaning that we need to encourage the advanced recollection of our literature.
Yes.
Are people interested from northern Ghana in your interaction, interested in the history of northern Ghana, and are they ready to write about it for documentation sake?
People are interested in history,
Mhm.
and so some people just want to document history and get their degree. So they can come to Nottingham and write anything just to get their degree. But how are they shaping that narrative?
Mm.
That's another aspect. The challenge we have in the North is that because of the level of poverty, how many people do want to encourage their kids to go and do history? I had to fight to get to go to
Mm.
university to do history, right? Even today, like, oh, yeah, brilliant student. Why are you doing history?
Mm.
And because
It
of how
doesn't pay.
it doesn't pay.
Yeah.
But I'm okay, I'm comfortable, I enjoy what I'm doing.
Mm.
I spend my own money to do all this, but I think I'm okay because history is so important, right? I am from Navrongo. I trace my history back to Miru. I'm saying I'm not kind of Frafra, even though there's nothing like Frafra in Ghana. We don't have anything like and when I come to Bulgaria, I tell them about they're all Nankansi. There's nothing like Guni or there's nothing like Frafra. We are all Nankansi, Ninkarasi. But if I trace back to Mirugu, Mirugu may call themselves Nankansi, but they're actually not Nankansi, they are Moses, right? The Roman people will trace themselves back to where? Zeko. Ninkarasis. Then if you go to Doba, Doba has connection to Simbron, right? Simbron has connection to Borga, Shirga, and all those. So we need that history to connect the unity, right? To connect us, to bring us together. So there are people who are just interested in history because they think that they can get their degree. But for us, for me, I think that history can be used to, right, to unite people and to tell people that okay, you may think you are this, but if you really read your history, you're actually this. Therefore, don't look down on another person because if you trace well, you realize that you're actually the people you're insulting or you undermine. So that's the value of history. I was born in South. And to tell you, we have places called Moshi Zongo, and you know, there's always certain
Yeah.
perception about certain people.
Yeah.
Today I can say I'm Mosi, right? I can say I'm Nankansi. I can say I'm Nan based on where I want to treat myself because of my mother's lineage. Even though my mother traced herself back to Chibeli, I thought Chibeli people were Kasnes. Until I went to Chibeli and I realized they're not Kasnes, they're actually the Moshis who came and settled there. So there's a lot that we have to learn. And there's a connection between Navrongo, Paga, Sandyman, all those places. I was at the San Chief Palace and he was telling me a lot about the connection they have it with other places. So these are important things that we ought to know, cultivate.
But if we are so much lost in the annals of literature, does it surprise you that universities strategically positioned in northern Ghana do not have history that should tackle this gap that's lost?
Yeah, right. I think I'm in conversation with the investor, Navrongo. So I've had conversation with them. I think some informal conversation, and we
Right.
are trying to what we're trying to do is also to partner with them as a research institute. I've spoken with ASA on several occasions how we can have an African center there to center our history or funding. But it's good to do science. We need to expand the university. For that university to expand, we need to introduce other concepts. Tech was a science, purely science, but I realized that you need the human resources, you need people. So I'm happy that the university is opening up, showing that if you go there, it's depopulated. People have invested there, put infrastructures there, hostel is not being occupied because of the change in it. So we need to actually expand that university. And I'm happy that they spoke to me and there was an offer to me a proposal how we can collaborate. And I'm hoping that when I return, other people digital human bring an African center here. We have two African centers. We have one at Lagos, the Institute of African Studies, and then one at the University of Cape. But most of the time, they get the money and they come here to do the research, do the engagement, the interviews, and everything. So once we have one, either here in the Upper East or in the Upper West, it helps with research, running, and everything. So I think UDS, not the name, UTAS
UTAS.
is actually opening up. We have to encourage our people to write more about history and I know the poverty level might not encourage people in history, but we have to work. And I think the
But
region is
but if we do it well, it will pay.
yeah, it pays. It pays.
Yeah.
Of course, there are a lot of people. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm into research,
research, yeah.
and it pays to do research. Even before I travel
As
outside,
if you're able to get a very good proposal.
yeah,
Right?
proposal to do your research. I've been doing my research even before I travel, and it pays to do research in the region. So you just have to be passionate about what you're doing. If you chase money, you may enjoy it. Just focus. I mean, 2021, I was here, my research, and it's that is initial research that actually opened my Used to, I was working on political history of Navarro, in Kansas, and then I realized I went to Ghana, I realized, oh, slavery was happening. So, oh, when at the high school level, when they talk about slavery, they will talk about relative. And the British came and colonized our ancestors.
That is the
And
gap in
the
history
gap,
that
they
I'm
don't talk
talking
about our
about.
involvement and
Yeah.
even the fact this the victories, even down people here won. I've been to places where they showed me graveyard of slave raiders. But because of unity, they will not mention them because oh, this ethnic group will kill them. Don't tell you. And I think that's very important. But good enough, there are several graveyards of slave raiders that they buried. It's there. You go to Seko, they'll tell you in their songs. You go to Para, listen to their songs, you realize that their stories of victories. You go to Navrongo, the same stories of victory. You go to Mirigo, the same thing. You go to Yaraga BC, the same thing. So I'm happy. And one thing I've learned is the wisdom from our elderly people. They are so knowledgeable. And initially I was like, do they have the vocabulary? The vocabulary feeling. But amazed there's the lot that they are saying. And I'll beat my chest to the Tindana. What the Tindanas tells me is different from what the Chiefs. And I'm not surprised because the Tindanas are more focused on healing, uniting the community. Oh, we need to form liberation. We don't need money. If you give us money for reparations and insult, you pay for the souls of our ancestors who were taken. So don't come to me talking about payment. Come to me talking about penance, repentance. I'm sorry for what I did. And then from there we can take any other conversation. And that is what I've been to here in Boko and in Bongo here. I've been to Navrongo, I've been to Namolo, and then I've been to Noxiniak and Dan. And these are the stories that are telling me about preparation. That is about peanuts. It's about acknowledgement. No, you don't. If you never acknowledge that, we know that your ancestors were taken, and therefore we want to. We are sorry. We are not doing. I went to Namolo and I said, we need to put for location. Of course, take somebody in. The same thing that Yariga people are telling. So you can't be in Accra and be advocating for something when you've not consulted the communities that were directly affected. And that's why our work is different from what is happening internationally, what the government is doing. What the government is doing is good. We can applaud them, but we can do it differently. We have to engage the community. Because if we get money for people to see, we went to a village called Agia in Jacob, and the chief was literally crying when he was telling us. They will show you relics like houses that have collapsed because when somebody was taken, there was no man in the house to take over. So the house. And in our tradition, that's an aberration. It's an insult to say the Gomayanga. It's an insult. So how do we bring closure to that? And one way is to create a space for our African American brothers to return home.
Right.
When they see them, it's closure. It's not healing, but they don't know where they were taken from. So this is a bigger project. Right. It's like Andani said, it's a deeper project. I'm to ensure we engage every community. So we've done Upper West. Right. I've been to Golu. I've been to Sankana. I've been to Tanzu. I've been to Paga and other places. So I think by tomorrow I'll finish up.
Do you see a regional engagement where people can walk in to tell their side of story? Because for these are people you probably have been able to reach out to.
Yeah.
How about the people you've not been able to reach out to who have the story that can inform deeper understanding into the idea? Do you foresee maybe in the foreseeable future where there could be maybe an opportunity, a platform created like the Accra conference that is going to take place, where we can have a regional replica of same?
Well, yeah, that's very important. We are going to do that immediately after the Accra convening.
Right.
We're going to mobilize resources. We are hoping that after the Accra convening, we'll have resources. I'm so happy that we have a regional minister who is so interested in heritage development. I haven't met him. I tried meeting on several occasions in Accra, but I came here. We haven't met, but hopefully I'll meet him before I leave. And so having that individual in the region is for me is significant. I've seen a lot of the work that he's doing in the region, and I think that's quite good. Um, I've been to the Attorney General's office and was like, let's send it to Tamale. Like Tamale is good, but I don't have the resources to bring this to. So we are hoping that after the Accra convening, we can have enough resources to organize one in the region,
Right.
one in Upper West, in all the five northern regions, because this is not an Upper East project, and I want people to know that. And so the fact that the thing is located in your region or is located in your district or your town or your village doesn't mean it is your holy. You can support it and take the pride that you've hosted it. But it's the Ghana thing, it's the northern Ghana and the southern Burkina thing, because there are a lot of stories from southern Burkina Faso that will find its way in the museum. So yeah, we're going to have that platform hopefully before December. That 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 will come, but the motive should not be to build a museum to raise money. That's why I refuse to name this slavery museum, because we don't have slavery in the Upper East region. And I tell people, our people were captured souls. They were not slaves. So when I saw the minister, foreign minister wrote, I wrote a reply that enslaved Africans. Our people were not enslaved. They got there and they became enslaved. They were captured Africans. And so we have to be careful about the terminology we use here, because in the north, there were husbands who were taken. We don't know what happened after Salga, whether they changed their status, but here they were the Atangers, they were the CBs, they were the Kapuris who were taken up there. And we have to emphasize that. And that's one thing we want to highlight at the CRA convening, that we have to be very careful about the term. If their status changed when they got to the south, period. But up north here, they were no slaves. They were captured and raided and stolen. And we have to keep that record. Just to honor our.
It's a very interesting interaction, but unfortunately, time would not permit us to continue this conversation today and on this platform. Hopefully, we may have an extended conversation around it, because how will this work of yours synchronize with the tourism sector to give the Upper East tourism landscape the boost that it needs? I believe it all forms part of the research work that you are doing. But conversation for another day. Before you leave, you are talking about someone wants to reach you. How do they reach you? And maybe your final words of closure to our guests, our listeners out there.
I think you can reach us on Facebook. We have the Dinyanga Museum there. If you go there, you can actually find our WhatsApp contact to reach out to us. If you just Google type Museum of Healing and Reconciliation, you can, but you can also reach out to me by my own contact 054 2751 986 054 751 the WhatsApp line. Or something, something. But after he got the website worked out, a lot of people keep calling me. He's getting contract. People are calling him. And that's about volunteerism. Once you do good work, people recommend for that space. So if you want to join us, you can reach out to us and get your support. If you're in Accra, you think you can help us organize the event, we need you. If you're an individual, you think you can sponsor the program, we still need that support.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. We are grateful for spending time to interact with us on this particular very important I can say historic event, and we want to hope that the partnership would come in and this was going to see the light of day. This is A1 Radio. We'll be back after this break to continue the discussion here in studio. Don't go anywhere.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
international. We go fly international.
Looking for a reliable bank you can trust? Choose Nara Community Bank PLC, your partner for a brighter financial future. Save with us, borrow with ease, and grow your money with confidence. Open your Susu, savings, salary, or current account today. Plan ahead with a Nara Child Education Trust account for your children's future. Enjoy easy banking with mobile banking by simply dialing *992#. Other e-banking services include Momo, Ghana Pay, eSwitch, ATM, and SMS Alert. Banking made simple, anytime, anywhere. Need a loan for your business, farm, or personal needs? Nara Community Bank PLC has you covered with flexible loans, including controller loans with low interest rates. Be a shareholder of the bank by purchasing the bank's shares. Invest, save, and grow. Visit the nearest Nara Community Bank PLC branch today. Nara Community Bank PLC, empowering dreams through reliable banking.
Joy is coming. Let's celebrate the hero we have.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work. Oh.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Vest. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
0.1 megahertz, 101.1 and more.
Okay.
A1 Radio.
A one, a two, a one, two, three. Let's go. I smile too much. I'm way too hot. Too spirited. I'm cool tempered. They say my dance is video. My girls are hit you. I love my soccer. All my ladies taste like sugar. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me to London. I'm made in Ghana.
All right.
To Lagos, but I'm made in
Still here on A1 Radio 101.1 FM.
I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me to London. I'm made in Ghana. You can take me
So something big. Something big is coming this July. And definitely it's bringing the knots with it. You are welcome to the Northern Business Fair 2026, where culture meets comments. And Made in Ghana takes center stage. For 2 exciting days, Jubilee Park will come alive with creativity and innovation. An enterprise from across northern Ghana will meet. So from hand-woven smokes to beautifully crafted products and fast-growing local brands, they will all meet to discover, connect, and grow. We will have top SMEs, startups, in fact, homegrown brands all in one vibrant space. It's the Saturday, the 25th of July to the 26th of July 2026 at the Jubilee Park in Tamale from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that happens each day. Ready to showcase your business? If yes, call 020-5973-973. Don't miss it. Be a part of the story. The Northern Business Fair 2026 This is powered by Channel 1 TV and City FM. It is proudly sponsored by EcoBank. Media partners include A1 Radio and Boga FM. Have you ever wondered how the meat you eat in the market, how they are cared for? Do you know that even the sheep and goats also have multivitamins? They have molasses that they put in water for them to take and fatten, antibiotics, dewormers. I bet you are wondering why I'm mentioning all these. Yes, they do. But you and I cannot start administering drugs, or if you like, medicine, to the animals we rear. Either we keep as pets or for the purposes of meat. We have people certified who have been trained, called veterinary officers. How many of them have you encountered? I'm not too sure you know more than 5 of them. Yes, because there are not many in the system. It's the reason why this morning we are going to have a conversation.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
And I have in studio the municipal veterinary officer for Boga and a veterinary nurse to help us start this conversation around veterinary, what they stand for, what they do, and whether they are resourced to do all that they have to do in the region. It's a conversation that concerns you. It concerns me. So please do not touch that dial.
Oh, my lady, tastes like sugar. I'm made
Stay tuned in. And remember that Petrosol is currently trying to reward its customers. And when I say customers, I don't mean one-time buyers. I am talking about loyal customers. If you are a car owner, please buy and accumulate purchases up to 2,000 Ghana cedis or and you enjoy free fuel worth 50 Ghana cedis. You can also grab some exciting branded souvenirs, including tissue boxes, car dusters, and other amazing prizes, and also for riders. All you need to do is buy and accumulate purchases up to 500 Ghana cedis, and you either get free fuel worth 30 Ghana cedis or branded souvenirs and other fantastic rewards. Wumpe way na wupe dien. Wakabot nwanage ubot la bain. Well, in the drivers, remember, every purchase is tracked on the Petrosol customer base. So the more you fuel, the more chances you have to win. This exciting promotion runs from now till the 31st of August 2026. Petrosol, energizing dreams. Terms and conditions apply.
You can't take me to Lagos, but
So there are times you wake up to fake messages, supposedly coming from your bank. Sometimes these messages are coming from fraudsters who have created fake websites. These websites look like your bank's name. They have same logo, same colors, same design. They may send you a link asking you to verify or send in your details. Sometimes they tell you risk losing access to your accounts if you don't. Once you enter your information, they take control of your account. Before you click, please check the link carefully. Some fake links may appear genuine at first glance, but certainly something slightly would appear to you. Once you take your time to read, you begin to see extra letters, sometimes missing letters, sometimes numbers replacing words. Others may use long, confusing web addresses or shortened links that hide the real website. Never click suspicious links. Instead, quickly visit your bank's official website for information or contact the bank directly using its official numbers. My brother, my sister, please shine your eyes, spot the fraud, please stop the fraud. This is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks. And on that note, I cross over to Studio B to start my conversation with the veterinary officers in-house. Good morning to you, and thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. This is a very familiar face.
Probably we've met before.
Oh, really? No worry. Your dog will get missing again.
Oh, okay.
Your dog will get missing. Then you come and tell me, oh, please, did you see a dog passing here? You don't remember this face.
Okay.
You do now. Aquabog.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you're welcome to A1 Radio, and I'm very interested in this conversation. First of all, when we say veterinary, let me introduce you proper, or you do that yourself?
Oh, I think okay.
No, I did. I said you were the municipal veterinary officer.
Exactly.
Can you please tell us your name?
Yeah, so I'm Ransford O'Connor.
Okay,
So I'm the municipal veterinary officer for Bogota.
very well. And he is?
Atopka Dong Moses.
Okay.
I'm a veterinary nurse doing voluntary at the municipal veterinary office.
Oh, voluntary. Wow. That's nice. So let me ask, who is a veterinary nurse, or what exactly is even veterinary? When we say veterinary, what does it mean?
Okay, so basically we normally try to ascribe veterinary to only animal treatment. But then veterinary looks at the health of animals, humans, and environment.
Okay.
Yeah, so veterinary is a cross-cutting sector. So we are normally known for making sure the health of our animals, disease, maybe in numbers. Yes, so what happens is, as a vet, our role is to ensure that these animals that are being reared or being raised up, whether as a pet or as for food, that they are actually getting the best services or the best health conditions available. Now, I'm talking this in the sense that if you have an animal and it's not being well taken care of, maybe the animal is let loose, it roams around, it is sick, you're not able to identify it early. That disease can actually spread to other animals as well. So we as vets at the front line, we advise the owners of these animals. And when these animals are sick and they bring them to our facility or they call on to us, we go there or we look at the animal when it's brought to our facility and we make sure that condition actually attended to prevent outbreaks.
Would you say that the community in which you work, and in this case, the Bogatanga municipality, really understands the work of veterinary? And at what level do you see people calling on you to come and attend to animals?
I would say it has improved because this is my fifth year in the region and the municipality. When I came initially, I saw that the patronization of the veterinary service was actually not to the level that it actually is today. So that means now people are getting to appreciate more of what we do. Now we can have people coming from other districts, even all the way to Bolgatanga Municipal here, because we are the only facility here with a little bit improved facility compared to the other districts in the region. This is forcing some farmers who are having major challenges, or some pet owners, travel all the way from whatever district they are, come to Bolgatanga Municipal to seek necessary care for their pets. So that means looking at how things are, it's actually getting better. But we're actually hoping that it gets to a point where it is much more embraced than it is currently.
How many are you?
So we are in different cadres.
Okay.
So in my cadre, as a veterinary officer, I'm the only one in the whole Bolgatanga municipality. In the region, we are only two. So I'm the one here, and we have one at the border in Paga. Then my regional director. So we're the only two practicing official veterinary officers. And we have those in the cadre of veterinary technologists and veterinary nurses. And for they are not numbering up to 50 in the whole Upper East region. And for Boca Municipal like this, the technologist role, there's only one person actually there. And then we come to the veterinary technicians. And that is subtract myself, which is 2, and my boss 3. From these 50, so we have about 53 out of 160. So we have about 105 of officially employed veterinary technicians to serve the whole Upper East region. So that means people actually see them around, but then they are actually voluntary, personnel. So I have my brother here, for instance. He actually completed about 3 years ago, and he still actually has not been absorbed into the system. Such a person is actually freelancing. So anytime at all he decides he can actually go to work or not, because he's not officially employed. The numbers are actually challenging. And so we are unable to meet all the needs of the farmers and the animal health in general.
You talked about there being an improvement in the patronage.
Yes.
It means that what you have now, if you have more people accepting to access your services, you would have a challenge.
Exactly.
Because even with the little patronage you have, you are still constrained with stuff.
We are very constrained. The good side is that as they patronize, we're actually able to advise them, able to know what practice to do, because looking at our numbers, we can attend to every farmer in the whole region, even Bolga Municipal as well. What happening is that as some come, we can actually try to organize some farmer forums, because we know we will not be able to attend to every farmer individually. We organize farmer forums, we educate them as a group, and then now we actually hope that if anything goes wrong beyond their capacity, they'll result on us. So as it stands now, the numbers are a major challenge. We cannot meet every farmer as we are supposed to. And this is giving rise to other people coming on the field as quacks. Because once this happens, it makes a gap for people that are actually looking at the weakness in the system and come in and pretend as if they are vets. Because the medications are actually easy to get.
Yeah.
You know, they walk into the shop.
I was mentioning a number of them.
Exactly. So you walk in, there's no regulation, people buy them. And this is even leading to another bigger problem ahead, which we'll discuss coming forward. Yeah.
So you talked about organizing, trainings and all of that.
Yeah.
Usually, what do you tell farmers? What are farmers, especially those in the area of farming, animal farming, rearing? What exactly are they supposed to know?
So basically, we are not really trying to push the drugs onto the farmers.
Okay.
We want to prevent the disease from happening, because that's the best thing. Because every drug has its side effects.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is that we're actually trying to educate them on how to ensure good biosecurity practices. And this is what is going to prevent the disease from coming into your farm in the first place. And also, if you're a farmer and there's any outbreak or disease in your farm, you also prevent it from getting to the next farm beside you. We're actually trying to give them these good biosecurity practices and also good management practices. Because aside this, you can actually have a very secure farm, but then if you're not giving them the right kind of, feed, not putting in the right medications, and some animals are also very sensitive to our temperature here. You see them, looks like they are fine with the temperature, but then sometimes in the very, the hottest of temperatures around here, some of them begin to succumb to certain, severe infections. So we try to educate the farmers that in such instances, this is what you do, and supplement them with these particular vitamins, and supplement them with some of these, these stress reducers, at least help the animals be able to make transition gradually from the season into the rainy season.
So more of preventive.
More of preventive. And now when it comes to the treatment, now that the animals are sick, now we go in there. And the challenge is sometimes some farmers will wait. They will sometimes try their own, concoctions, go to the pharmacy, buy the shop, buy their own medications. And when it doesn't work, then they are now resorting on us.
Especially with fowls. They don't joke with red and yellow.
Exactly. And that is a very dangerous thing, because what happens is that this same red and yellow, when you treat the fowl with it.
I don't know who diagnosed or who told them that when the fowl turns the neck like this, it's red and yellow.
And it seems to be effective, because what happens is that most people are getting the result from that.
Yes.
But then also it's a huge challenge. What happens is when these animals, these fowls, they begin eventually survive or they die. There's a period with which you're supposed to actually wait before they are consumed.
Okay.
Because these drugs actually have a residual effect in these animals. Sometimes when you take these animals, some have residual effects up to 21 days, some 40 days, and even some 90 days. Sometimes the drug is still in the animal system within this period. Then now when the animal is now consumed within this period of kill for consumption, the drug that's actually used in treating the animal, they are consuming it as a human. what happens is that same drug, eventually you go to the hospital or the pharmacy, you're not well, and it is prescribed for you. Because you consumed a little quantity of that drug, even if the disease was in your system, the bacteria, the disease-causing organisms will build resistance. Such that now that the real medication has come to solve the problem, because the viruses or the disease-causing organisms have already built resistance, the medication doesn't work anymore.
Or we'll roast it.
You roast.
We'll let the fire.
That's the thing. The challenge is that you think some of the pepper, some of them are not able to really take care of that. And that's the challenge you're having currently. You know, some years back, I'm privileged to actually have data of some of the medication that we're using some time back.
Okay.
And now most of them are not responding to the same conditions that we used to treat.
Okay, for the animals.
For both humans as well.
Okay.
So first, maybe you have some like penicillin, the drugstore, you go to buy penicillin, then you take penicillin for maybe some minor conditions. Now, when you go, this same penicillin you're buying, you actually will buy, and it's not taking care of the same condition that you used to take care of. And this is as a result of resistance. Because we introduce a small number or a small quantity through some of these means, inappropriate, prescriptions. We went there and then we took it, bought it over the counter without necessary prescription. And now the disease-causing agent builds resistance. So eventually, when the disease-causing agent has now come in full attack again, it has already built some armor, and it's a big problem that we are currently facing both in the human health sector and the animal health sector.
That's serious. Let me come to you, Mr. Dongo. How does it feel to have all this knowledge, to have all these the desire to serve and not being employed? Does it affect how you? Someone just sent me a message. Then I joke, I'll confess on air. Now I gave an animal red and yellow. Please allow me. I didn't. I saw someone doing it. Yes. So how does it feel? Because I see you. I see how passionate you are about animals and all of that. All of us, when we go to school, the dream is when you are done, get employed. And how is that affecting your output?
It affects me. I don't know how to put it. Everybody, as you said, after you learn these things, you want to put them into use. And this is the case. You come home, have to sit with you. Fortunate for some of us who try to get engaged, still learn new things every day. Or those who goes home to sit down, with time they forget a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now we just hope one day we get into the system. At the meantime, we don't want to sit down.
So you don't forget. Okay.
And one thing I wanted to add up is about this red and yellow you spoke about, and the second thing is these animals they fall sick, they die, and meat we have to consume. It's a saying that a man sleeps with a cutlass food every night. But one day, just like 2 years ago, it happened somewhere around Binduri, where people consume dead cow, and it even led to people dying out of it. So we think it's a normal thing we do every day, and it doesn't have any effect on us. But one day you eat a dead animal up to something. This disease, you hear that it's in this house, and the following day another house has occurred there. It's just us who are transmitting it from one house to another. We do open defecation.
Okay.
You eat your dead animal. You go, the animals go on. Another bird goes and eats from feces, and that's how they pick it, and they transmit it, and that's how it goes on. As he spoke about the farmer education, these people about how to control this. They didn't know that's how they do. That's why they do what they do. But if you explain to them, and if I don't eat that fowl, preventing others from getting, and if the next person had not eaten, I wouldn't have gotten what I get. You try to control it in a way. Yeah.
Very well. So we see people. Is it okay to call you Doc?
Yes, actually, that's my title, but I don't use
it. We see people, farmers, they have their own penicillin, they have their own antibiotics, they have their own, medications basically, and they administer. They see the veterinary people come and they hold the tie and hit it like this, and and do the injection. So, I mean, it's not difficult to do, so I can do it myself. What would you tell those people? Is it even appropriate to have your own medications at home, especially the ones that has to be injected?
In fact, it's actually a very bad practice. And I'll also partly blame some of my colleagues in the field, because what happened is that once we're actually trying to do this, we don't educate the farmer properly on why we are doing what we are doing. So sometimes the farmer comes, he tells you, my animal is not eating, but my animal is passing a loose too. And then they don't delve further or explain to the farmer what may probably be going on and look at that treatment approach, what we are going to do. So when the farmer tells him my animal is not eating, they just come, where's the animal? Okay. And they take the medication, they inject. Anytime the farmer sees such repetitive actions, he thinks that anytime this thing happens,
this is what they do.
And then, other side effect of this is that for every drug, there's a dosage that must be given, administered. And there's a number of times it has to be done. What happens is that if you are not trained to be able to administer, not even the dosage, even the site of injection as well, you can go and inject an animal at a site where the medication will now just be, it will just be in the body of the animal and wouldn't do the needed, be able to effect the necessary changes. And also dosing. You can overdose. And overdosing can actually kill the animal because the body will now become overstressed. Make use of the available drugs. For some of these drugs, they have different organs of the body they go to, come to the heart, to the brain, to different tissues of the body. And then there's the issue of underdosing as well. And for the underdosing option, it's even very dangerous because what happens is that the disease you are trying to treat, there's a specific amount of the drug that has to go in there. And all this is calculated by the weight of the animal, the age of the animal, the animal species. It's not every animal that you are giving the same quantity of drug. No. When you come, for instance, at the clinic in veterinary, the Burger Clinic, for instance, you have a scale. Weigh the animal, take its vitals, as of the age, the disease that's actually happening, and then we'll now have to make a decision using a decision tree. And because some of us have been in the system for quite a while, we know what to look out for. So what we're actually taking the parameters we are from the farmer, and when did it start? Because the period that it started can also give us the idea as to use this particular drug, don't use this one, or use this one. When farmers actually go ahead and restock all these drugs into their barn or their yard on their farm, they administer them at their own, convenience, it's actually creating a bigger problem. Because as I said, if some of these drugs are not being regulated, the disease that they are meant to treat will not be treated, will not respond to these antibiotics or these drugs again. Because eventually you're supposed to give this quantity, maybe you give too much than it, or you give lesser than it. And now, you did that for a repeated number of times. Now the organisms you were treating have built resistance. Once it has built resistance, now you come to the vet because you're not getting the results. And when the vet comes in, sometimes farmers will also tell the vet that, oh, I started treating with this medication. But some of them don't want to be implicated.
Yeah.
So they come, oh, this is what is happening. And we try to find out from them. Some of them will not tell the truth. And then we go in with the medication that they also used. But then we are going at the right dosage. And because they actually did something wrong, even the right dosage between the vet is going in will not be responding to it. And this is a case where we have to look for other better options. And the challenge currently is that we are actually under-resourced to know what better option to give at the moment. Because right now, if an antibiotic is not working, what will the vet have to do is you have to perform an antibiotic sensitivity test.
I was just about asking you whether you do lab tests to determine what ailment is, worrying the particular animal. Because it's more of observation. With what I have seen, they just come, they observe, and they tell you what to do, or they do what they have to do. Yeah.
And that was one of the lapses in the system. Because our diagnostic capacity is currently being beefed up. I say, since the past 5 years, we've seen a major improvement in our laboratory capacity. Now there are tests we can run. We can take blood samples from the have a machine that we run. Take some samples as well. Want us to, there are other different tests that we actually can perform. I would still need more facilities to be able to, more resources to be able to keep the facility. And the challenge here is that now we have only one facility in the whole region
that can do
that. So now the officers are bringing in, it becomes a heavy workload. The officer there, and he's only one person in the lab too.
Wow!
You can just imagine, just one person in the lab receiving. It's going to be a very poor laboratory turnaround time. What's happening? You send a sample to the lab, you're able to get a feedback almost immediately or within the next 24 hours to be able to help your treatment decision. But then it's going to take you about a week. And so it's going to take about a week to get your result. may have died at the time. Now what happens is now we are forced to actually treat this on the clinical signs. But because you've been trained, some of these diseases, look at the clinical signs, the cause of, the disease, how it started. We ask for some history, the age, and it helps us narrow our diagnosis to what particular disease we can be looking at. And sometimes, most of the time, because you are trained, we call it differential diagnosis. That means what you're actually suspecting are almost all the time be 70 to 100% right, because we know exactly what we are doing. We are getting results.
Very well. There are instances where animals are trying to, how do you call it, give birth?
Yes.
And they struggle.
Yes.
In women, sometimes the doctor can say that, oh, looking at your condition, we have to do CS. So even before you know that you have to give birth, you already know you are preparing for CS. The same said about animals. And do you do that? Because I've seen some videos of that happen elsewhere. Do you have the capacity to perform CS, cesarean sections here?
Yes. Well, the CS is one thing we actually do regular. Yes. So I think until I came to the region, we're actually doing it in only the sheep and goat. That's what most of the officers on the field are capable of doing. Then when it comes to other species like the dogs, there's a few of us, because myself, like Grace and the Kida of the veterinary officers, those of us are the ones that can actually do that. Since I came to the region, so far we've been able to do successful CS in dogs as well, able to survive with them. They also advanced surgeries such that, like recently, about 2 weeks ago, we had a dog who, in humans as well, it actually happens where they have pus in the uterus of the woman. They may try treatment several times. If it doesn't work, they may have to take out the uterus. This is a very, very delicate procedure. If you're not properly trained to be able to perform it, you can't perform it. So 2 weeks ago, we had that instance, and brought it, able to take out the uterus of the dog, actually surviving right. Safely, the dog is actually, but then what happens then is that post the surgery, you have to be able to get the diagnostic capacity to monitor such patients. But the surgery for me, and then those of us,
the dog is a patient.
It's a patient.
Okay.
Yes. For those of us, the surgery can be done, but then there's something that we call post-surgical care. It's very, very important. And if you're not capably resourced or not adequately resourced, be able to perform a very good post-surgical care, then you find
Do you have admission wards for them after the surgery? Or when the surgery is done, the owner has to take the patient home?
So currently we have I won't say a world-class standard ward. We have a room, also have some cages where we keep them. But then even with that alone, it's not enough. Because you have to monitor their vitals every now and then.
Yeah.
And you will need personnel to be with them. Just like in a human hospital where you
they might even be aggressive at a point, especially with the dogs.
Exactly. What happens is that because they've gone through such conditions, some of them because it's been a surgery, the pain. So you have to monitor them every now and then, be giving them some pain medications, and feeding them, supporting them, is while they are there, so they'll be able to come out of it. But since the numbers are not there, you can't. Sometimes the admission is very, very challenging because we all close and we are very exhausted. At the clinic, for instance, we are only 2 officially employed officers at the clinic. All those helping there, or 5 of them, are all voluntary personnel. And since they're also not on salary, they're not able to really say, okay, you're going to stay here overnight and help monitor this patient recovers. Do that because they actually not, we can't pay them for that service.
Yeah.
What happens is that the animals are going to be the ones to the pain. Sometimes very painful seeing an animal going through so much pain.
Yeah. It's not a refreshing scene.
It's a challenge.
Especially
like
when
said,
they are dying.
When they are dying.
Yeah.
And some of these deaths, I actually believe would have actually prevented them if we had the necessary logistics and equipment available. This is a case where our hands are tied.
Yeah. So I'm sure people are listening, and some of the questions I ask might actually be in line with what they want to ask. A lot of times, when they give birth, they are unable to breastfeed. Either the little one refuses to breastfeed, or the mother has a challenge, and there are some that will even kick you away, will not allow you to come closer. What do farmers do in that type of situation?
So what happens is that first we have to diagnose, because when the animal gives birth, we have to be sure that there is breast milk, enough breast milk, the breast or the udder. So if there is not enough breast milk, in that instance we'll have to recommend a supplement. So we have some supplements on the market. For dogs like this, the one we use for humans, babies as well.
Mm.
Can also use the same thing for puppies as well.
Okay.
Then for the sheep and goats, it becomes more, it's very difficult process because for that you have to now seek for another milk from maybe a lactating sheep. Sometimes some are forced to use the milk from cattle used for the sheep.
So those that mix nido and give.
So the nido happened, then the nido just is, most of them are not, they are processed proteins.
Okay.
So they don't have the real protein that the breast milk offers. So sometimes the milk and protein can sustain, but there's something that we call colostrum. It's actually the first milk within the first 72 hours that the mother has to give to the fetus. It doesn't take that colostrum. What happens then the young one is liable to so many infections. So although the needle and the NAN1 can actually help with energy and some proteins, then when it actually comes in phase, maybe it actually contracts certain diseases, the chances of survival are very, very low. What happens sometimes too, like I was saying, there are certain medications that we actually have to administer because they have actually given birth, but then that hormone not actually in a quantity that the body will be able to use to produce the breast milk. And that same drug also stimulates the nervous system. So it's like it sides their mind as well. Like in hospital, most health workers know that oxytocin. So we give that, oxytocin as a medication. It's a bonding drug. It actually helps with the hormone to bond the fetus or the baby to the mother. We administer it. If the breast milk is not flowing well enough, and then there's a capacity to produce breast milk, actually help with the milk production. It also has an effect on the brain as well. The bonding of the mother and the child. It helps the mother to also at least try and stimulate or get the young one fit. So it's a whole process that will have to be followed. And the farmer, if it's not breastfeeding, just go in and give this medication. Sometimes, like I'm saying, it could be that maybe there's a wound around the udder where the mother is. When the process of birth, she's too tired and too strained. Such instances, when we observe, we don't have to go in with any other medication, but just a painkiller.
Noted. We are still live on A1 Radio, and we are here this morning with Dr. Ransford Okonu. He is the Municipal Veterinary Officer, and Atubiga Adongo Moses, a veterinary nurse. You want to add something? Please do.
What I've observed about this animals giving birth and allowing their small ones to suckle is also have to do immaturity, like well-established farm, a controlled breeding. So when the animals comes on heat for the first time, but then it's not matured enough to start reproduction. But then because they are in free-range system, no one controls it. So that's maybe children.
Okay. The farmers actually love that.
So in that case, you need extra care for them.
Okay.
Because the system and even the brain is not well developed to take care of the young one.
That's true.
So probably maybe the first day have to helping the kid or the lamb to breathe for the first few days. When the pain calm down after maybe it will come. Small one to be strong enough to be so forced to breastfeed. What I wanted to.
All right. So to a topic or an aspect of our conversation that I am very interested in, rabies and vaccination. I know you are under-resourced, but what deliberate efforts have you made in the area of education so that people are aware of the consequences of not vaccinating their animals, especially with dogs and cats?
Thank you. So I think with the sensitization, we've made a huge progress. Because now don't treat rabies only as an animal health problem, then a human health and a public health issue. So now we work very closely with the Ghana Health Service, colleagues in the Ghana Health Service. And what we are doing is that now actually on some sensitization drives as well. So on sometimes when you get the slots for radio discussions, come on the radio, to educate the public on the rabies and what to look out for and the need or the importance to vaccinate their animals. Other times too, we actually have some farmer forums, which I did mention about, where we meet some of these farmers, the group, and then we educate them, let them know that this disease as rabies, once the signs and symptoms set in the human or the animal, that is it. That person is, or that animal is just going to go just like that. These are some of the initiatives we are putting in place. But then, like I said, if we're properly resourced, it will be more effective. Now, there's a system that we have now put in place, which is the integrated bite case management, which has now made it easier for people to report to facilities and then get the post-exposure that they actually need. Then it actually is more costly because the anti-rabies, you're looking at rather preventing the rabies from the host or the ones that's going to transmit the rabies. It's far more cheaper. Because when vaccinating an animal, maybe at a price, if it's on a mass scale, and the price can even be reduced to 30 cities or 40 cities. Compared to if a human gets bitten, it's going to get from the pharmacy for 600 cities, 700 cities, or even 1,000 cities. We find that if the animal was actually properly vaccinated, the chances of that animal contracting rabies reduced very, very low and drastically. Wouldn't necessitate the patients go through the whole process of going to take 5 sets of injections, going through that mental, trauma of having to hope I don't come down with rabies. Because when anybody that sees a person that of rabies, automatically you find out that this is not one that I should just joke with. These are some of the initiatives you are putting. But then, I said we are working closely.
So, what is the appropriate time to vaccinate dogs or even cats? And at what interval?
Ideally, supposed to be started at 3 months. And what happened is that at the 3 month period, there's some
3 months after birth?
3 months, yes,
Okay.
3 months old. So at 3 months old, that means that at that time when it was given birth to, the mother has some antibodies that it passes on to the puppy or the cat or the kitten at a time. So that antibodies help to fight infections if the infection actually comes within this period of time. So the mother had been vaccinated against rabies, and we can wait up to the 3 months period to vaccinate, because at the end of the 3 months, that antibodies that the mother actually passed on to the young one has went down drastically. And that is when the vaccine comes in. When the vaccine comes in, the vaccine is going to stimulate the immune system to produce more antibodies. And this will last for 1 year. That means we start vaccination ideally 3 months and repeat it annually, every year. That's what we do. In instances on areas or communities where there are rampant issues of rabies, we come all the way down to 2 months. Because at that time, we are looking at rabies as threats. So instead of waiting for the 3 months and go all the way down to 2 months, if the puppy is fit, vaccinate. Then we repeat when it's also 3 months.
Okay.
Exactly. Then we look at the annual vaccination.
And when someone has not vaccinated for, say, a period of 3 years and finally does, it's same as doing it every year.
So if the person hasn't vaccinated the dog or cat for
the dog
3 years,
yes,
and then did it
after,
afterwards, yes, that means the person will have to now follow through the 1 year annual.
1 year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking because there are people that probably haven't done yet.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, okay, so what happens if I decide to do now? Okay. All right. So we are still here talking about veterinary services in the region. And I'm interested in the clinic. What are some of the services you talked about having a laboratory?
Yes.
Can you mention some of the labs that you do, the names of the ailments that you diagnose after those labs?
Okay, so name of the illnesses. Okay. So, well, let me start with the most common one we have. So we have Newcastle disease.
Okay.
That is in poultry. So that's where the head of the bed will turn.
Okay.
Moving in circles, and then passing greenish diarrhea. And it actually kills them a lot.
What some people use red and yellow to cure.
What some people use red and yellow to cure. They also have the avian influenza as well.
Okay.
Yes. Currently, avian influenza is actually zoonotic, just like the Newcastle. That means that if the animal has it, it can pass it on to the human.
Okay.
Yes. So what happens is for the avian influenza, it's even much more dangerous. The Newcastle, if your immune system is suppressed, that can actually contract it. And we have something, in the dogs, we have parvoviral infections. We have some worm infestations as well. And we have this is called myiasis. It's actually around this time of the season, we're actually going to record it a lot because it's raining and there are a lot of flies. So the flies come and then lay eggs on the animal, the wet area of the animal skin. When the eggs hatch, they turn into maggots. And these maggots eat into the skin of the animal gradually. And this is another condition that actually happens. So aside the parvovirus, We have leptospirosis, we can actually diagnose them. We have canine influenza, then we have come to the sheep and goats. Sheep and goats, we have PPR.
I asked because I mean, when I meet people like this, I want to appreciate everything as much as I can. Like majority of the things I had doubts about or I was thinking about. I think I saw somewhere eggs that you need to wash them well before you use. I mean, obviously, when you buy eggs and they are dirty, you have to wash them before. But some people will just break them straight into the pan or break them into a bowl to whisk and start using. That typhoid can be gotten from the eggs, the feces of the droplets or whatever. I don't know what the appropriate word to use. So I wanted to understand. So this is the reason why I asked you to mention it. I was expecting to hear typhoid in there, but you didn't. But what's the link? Really, I want to appreciate if what I learned is true and how, because a lot of times we attribute the getting of typhoid to several other things, maybe through water, through this, but there are other areas where we could get. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
So the bacteria or the positive organism that
The
is implicated for
type.
salmonella. Yes, that's salmonella for the typhoid.
Mm.
Actually, also in poultry. So we have something we call the fowl typhoid. But then the good thing is that the fowl typhoid, the strain is not very dangerous in humans, but then it has the capacity to mutate. And for the dirty egg, for instance, the eggs too, they have pores in the eggs.
Yeah.
The eggs, they breathe.
Yeah.
That's why. So people think that, the egg is in a sealed container. No, actually has some air pores. That's actually.
That's why sometimes
very
they
tiny.
ask you to put it well for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you find out that if the egg is dirty, or maybe if you have a farm, and then the birds actually they are droppings all over, and then in the dropping there's a fowl typhoid, or the birds actually have typhoid. And then let me also chip this in. Some of the animals, they have a condition we call they are asymptomatic. So that means that they actually have the disease, but they are not showing signs of it.
Okay.
So they can be passing the disease causing organisms, maybe the Salmonella typhi, through their feces. And so this Salmonella typhi is in the feces of the animal. And then when they lay, they also lay into the feces. They pick these eggs, and then the egg is actually infected with Salmonella. Go, you break it, thinking you're safe, and then end up contracting the Salmonella.
Yeah. All right. Let me come to Adungu. Is there anything you want to add? After listening to us, we said a number of things. As for the red, I beg you, stop using it. So don't talk about that one.
Okay. So currently this season, what I observe about farmers is we have this particular is that it's at its peak. Talking about parvovirus, you have a puppy, below the ages of 9 months, come down with they vomit, they run diarrhea, they refuse. It's actually a viral infection, and there's a vaccine for it. Really, they say. So we have a way of preventing it. But if those with the foreign dogs, they find it more convenient to do the because the vaccination is a bit expensive, and those with the local dogs will compare the price of a dog to the vaccination. But when it comes down with this particular, what it does, it's a viral infection, so we don't have anything treatment against it. Like it's a management. We try to control symptoms. Yeah, that's what we do. And usually the treatment is also as expensive as the so people find it difficult to afford for the treatment. There's an alternative we try to use by giving them medication, because the animal is running, it's vomiting, and it's not eating. Definitely it becomes very weak. And if you don't give it something to give it energy and replace the lost fluid, you just go in with medication, it's very difficult to get results. Farmer will be like, the vet came and passed on. Some even believe when you have a puppy, you don't have to inject it, because when they injected it, it's a misconception. You need to understand, if you really want to do the right thing, there's a high chance of you getting there, especially with early intervention. But if you wait till the time that the virus gets into the body, very weak, try everything, wouldn't get the results, especially here that we don't have the necessary equipment like other places have in care unit. Meaning So currently, that's just the problem we face. The vet came and
All right. Thank you very much for the explanation. You know, the foreign dogs, because of how expensive they are, owners are always interested in vaccinating them and getting them the medications and all of that. But if it is the local ones, they feel that, oh, this one. But like you are saying, oh, when it dies, somebody's dog would give birth somewhere and I'll go and pay 50 Ghana cedis or 80 cedis and take it. But you forget that it's life. It's also living, breathing like you. And they protect us in so many ways. Sometimes you are sad, they will run to you, try to jump around and all that. The joy of seeing them. Yeah, I don't like it when I see animals not well.
It's a very traumatizing experience, especially when you know something could have been done
Yes.
earlier and the necessary action will not taken.
Yes, this is not a good experience at all. All right. Your final words. Let me start with Doc.
So I'll actually say that we'd have to give the veterinary sector more attention.
Okay.
We have to give more attention.
I
Because
agree.
looking at our numbers currently, we are very, 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 and the number is just below what we actually expect. Plus, we actually under resourced as well. Because you can see these are the numbers. Sometimes the strain on those in the system is going to be too much.
Yeah.
That we can't deliver. So we're actually employing stakeholders, policymakers, to look at this sector very carefully. Because if you also actually, let's say, God forbid, anything happens out of the district or government elsewhere, an emergency happens, and it has to get somebody of mine training to be able to handle.
It'll be difficult.
It'll be difficult. So that means we are going to be losing more and more cases. Plus, those that are actually also in the system employed, many.
Yeah.
And they have other issues aside work.
So at the moment, every district has an office.
Every district has an office.
Just that
But only the
staff.
clinic in Bolga have other clinics, but then so far it's only 5 clinics in the region that are functional. And we have offices in the whole region. Walk into
Who has a bag with a lot of
has a bag with a lot of and it's on a motorbike and ready to pick you around. It's a big challenge.
All right, let me come see you, Adongo. All veterinary officers have bags and they have medicines in it. They just demands it.
mobile clinic.
Exactly.
All right, please go on.
So I like to it's unemployment. In region, the town that we have, people are still don't get people don't still get the service.
Okay.
Talk less of the
Yeah.
yeah. So they really need something. Getting people gets everywhere. Because if the animals are not well, we just live in close contact. Especially this our setting, we live in close contact with them. There are a lot of these that animals can be transmitted and be transferred from
to humans. Okay.
So people leaving the animals is also more like in our health. That's what I would like to mention. And the vaccination too.
Okay.
I think we should be encouraged to
do that.
It's way less expensive to.
So let me allow you put your numbers out there because you can go around. I mean, as compared to Doc, so that if people really want to reach out for further clarification, and that's of Dog as well, because I'll be coming to you for a cesarean section very soon. With that
wow, interesting. I'm waiting. I'm going to start preparing.
I will bring in an animal for C-section. I want to witness it. This one is elective C-section.
Wow. The animal will not be happy with you.
We want to observe, probably we'll have to invite you when we have one.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So please put your numbers out there. Let me start with Doc.
So my number that I can reach on is 055 967 1353. 055 967 3.
Mine is 024 22 77 024 22 77 00.
All right, so this is where we draw down the curtains on the conversation around the work of veterinary officers and their pressing needs. The numbers are not encouraging from what they've told us and the number of farmers we have. Did you know that I'm a farmer? You see me, I was asking a lot of questions. So imagine we have more than 5 farmers in this house alone, A1 Radio, and we have very little veterinary officers. How do we call them to come
So
to
then
our
in
aid?
Boga we have only 8. Imagine now you have 5 only here within,
In the Boga
Boga
municipality.
like A1 Radio are just 5 here.
Okay.
Now for official officers in Boga municipality, we are only 8.
Wow.
Imagine.
So
8 of
imagine if
us.
all of us, all the 5 of us are looking for you one morning. It's sad. So we have to continue advocating for some of you people to be employed. But do we have enough of them in the system that
Yes,
are
we have
unemployed?
actually a lot of them that have been trained that are
Okay.
used to be absorbed into the system.
Okay.
And some of them are forced to do other things, going to mining and galamsey because they are not even employed.
Buy bags, go to doctor. Buy bags and go to doctor for him to give you the.
But, from what he's doing very well. He's
Okay.
actually one of the few that actually volunteered.
Okay.
And he's very helpful. So
Mm.
we encourage more of them.
More
to
of them.
volunteer.
All right. You know, volunteerism is free, but it comes with its own reward, though.
Exactly.
It's free. Most of the time, so I'm volunteering is free, but my dear, it's not free. You will get something. It's better than sitting in the house. So please volunteer. Go to them. Let them send you to the places they can reach. And I can assure you that you get fuel money to come back.
Definitely.
Yes. All right. So, Doc, thank you so much for coming. And Moses, thank you as well.
You're welcome.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Doc. So yes, we are wrapping up. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who made time to listen to us today on A1 Radio 101.1 FM. I'm sure you learned a thing or two, especially the egg bit. I bet a lot of you did not know that you can get typhoid from eggs. Redo. Expand. Ever ask yourself why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth? That's because you are supposed to listen more than you talk. I said you need to listen more than you talk. And I will just end by saying that we all have different paths. The fact that one has arrived today doesn't mean you two won't. Some roads are long, others are short. What is important is starting the journey and knowing where you are going. Because if you don't know where you are going, as somebody will say, you go run and run and run and run. So just know where you are going. And once you start the journey, you are sure to arrive. Thank you so much. For myself, Umukusum Tahiru, Geralda Sagi,